Coming out of week
Ready to
5
go.
and heading into week 6 in the British Columbia Football Conference, DOMINIC ABASSI here with Bob REIST, head coach of the Huskers, and Shane Beatty, head coach of the West Shore Rebels. And Bob, let's start with you. A tough one in week 5 against the Raiders. Give me your assessment and some of the takeaways from your team's performance.
Obviously, again, not our best performance. Certainly our expectations are to perform higher than that. But, we found ourselves in a tight game, into the third quarter there. And then, the wheels fell off for a number of different reasons, So, when you look back at it, it's certainly a game that caused us to rethink a few things about how we're going to move forward and certainly – make some changes to the roster moving forward. It's certainly not a game that, that represents what we're trying to do as a program and where we're trying to move forward to as a program. So, I think in that end, it was a real eye-opener.
Shane, for you, I don't think the result was shocking, but how did you feel about the process, the way that your team performed on that road trip up to Kamloops?
Anytime you have to leave at 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and you get up at 5, and you get there, and within, the first quarter, the lightning delay for about 90 minutes there, right? So it was difficult. I thought the kids were great. Obviously it's a long day, but we stayed motivated. We did a good job with them at the locker room during the delay, and the kids were focused all week. We knew what we had to do, right? We played horrible against Langley. We got a whooping. We had to come out here and really do our thing, just execute properly, right? Stop to minus 11 yards offense, and I thought overall it was a great day.
Bob, if you had to try and shake it out to one thing, something you can point to about the first half of the season and why it's gone the way it has, is there something that comes to mind, or is it just too many little things? How do you sort of look at that as some factors?
Well, certainly there's a lot of different things. Execution on the field has been a problem. There's no doubt about that. We've made a lot of mistakes, football mistakes. But to be honest, the biggest thing that's been holding us back is, defining who we are as a team and who's going to lead us and, which group we're going to follow. And, I think coming out of this last week, we know where we're at now. We know what group is going to be here and wants to do this thing together. And, we look to see a much improved attitude this week moving forward.
Shane, for you, this Rebels team, I'm not surprised about the turnaround, but I think some people might be. Can you point to a factor? Is it a guy? Is it a coach? Is it a system? Something that has been the biggest part of why the first half of the season has been so much better than last season was for this organization?
Well, to be honest, our kicking game has been really good. Schematically, we've always been sound, but the kids that are on the special teams this year have they bought in, and our kicker's doing a great job. I love what we're doing with the punt team, the options we have out of it now to go both ways, and the fact that our kicker's kicking into the end zone now. That's, how many teams are going to really drive the ball 80 yards on you, 90 yards on you? It very rarely happens, right? So the kicking game's been massive. Our return game's been really good with Mayo and Polis. So that's, I would say it's a huge factor, especially, and then obviously the fact that we're very fast on defense and getting healthy with Leo back now.
I'll ask both of you guys about the week 1 game, that incredible comeback from West Shore. Bob, for you, is there anything at all that you bring forward or look to from that week 1 game heading into this second meeting with the Rebels?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of positives to point to for our squad. Looking back to that game, that's a game, for the most part, we had in control, and credit to them, for taking advantage of the mistakes as they should, and that's a very good football team. You can't give a football team like that those kind of opportunities to come back in a football game, and it clearly cost us, and critical errors. So I think, there's a lot to review and, go back to and point out critical points in that game where we let that get away from us.
Shane, when you hear your opponent's head coach talking about, changes to the roster coming out of a really sour loss and going into the next game, what do you expect? What do you think that is going to bring out of them?
I have nothing but respect for Coach. Obviously they're going to be prepared. They have a good squad. He's done a great job. To be honest with you, though, I just worry about us. Honestly, we've got to execute. We've got to do our thing. We feel like we know who they are. I know who Coach is. I think he's going to put a great squad on the team and a great product. We have to take care of ourselves. I mean, 1-0 every week, and that's all we can do.
Shane, biggest surprise of the first half of the BCFC season? It can be your team. It can be in the league, something you've seen. What jumps out?
The parity. I mean, you look at Langley and Kelowna, right? You look at VI and Valley. You look at us and Valley. We've been in so many close games, right? Take Kelowna, take Kamloops out of the equation right now, and you know what? They played some people tough. So, any one of the once you get into the show, once you get into the dance in the playoffs, any one of these teams can win.
Bob, what about you? What has kind of maybe caught your eye and surprised you about the first half?
I mean, a lot of surprises. Certainly, the amount of inadvertent whistles that have come out, and I don't know how surprisingly, I guess the inadvertent whistle has been a big surprise, and certainly the things that fall into place with that. But like Coach said, I don't know if it's a surprise or more to be expected. I think this league is, there is a lot of parity in this league, and each week brings a different challenge, and certainly. It's going to be a tight race coming down to the end.
We have a lot of kids that played CIS just like Coach has, and a lot of these kids like Polis Goku who played corner for UVR, and he says, Coach, I get challenged every week out here. So the talent too, I think you're seeing a lot better talent at the skill position, and that's been it's so nice to see.
It's certainly been fun to watch. I know the fans have been enjoying it too, gentlemen. Thanks for this. Best of luck this weekend. I always appreciate your time.
Awesome,
y'all have a great night.
Good luck, Coach.
Take care, Coacher.
Take care.